There is no better feeling around the holidays than taking the aggression you feel for your family and transferring that into beating on a drum kit. So today we're checking out the Van Gogh drum kit. All right, they have sent me a few instruments this month, and they asked me to try them all out and try to make some music for it. So I just spent 2 hours putting this together and making it sound good, and I want to just talk a little bit about drums, and then we're going to make some music with it at the end of it, okay? So I am by no means a drum-first musician. If you watch this channel at all, you know that I'm a guitar player primarily, but I have some experience playing drums, and I used to actually work in the drum section at Guitar Center, Las Vegas, back in the day. So I know a thing or two about drums, and I want to talk a little bit about what I really love about this kit and some things that I might change or upgrade if that's something that you're interested, right? But first of all, you should have a drum kit, whether it's an electronic drum kit or something acoustic. There's just no better feeling. Like just doing all this and putting it together and starting to play, like, just is good for your soul. So if you have the room in your place, if you have the sound limitations or privileges to be able to play an acoustic kit, I highly, highly recommend it. Even if you don't have those privileges and you just want to annoy people around you, there's really no better way to do it, right? So what we have here is just a full kit. Everything that is here shipped in one box that was like this big, which blows my mind. Just the amount of raw material value you get for this is just kind of like insane, right? So I'm just going to play for a minute, and then we're going to talk about all the components, and then I would love to hear what you think about them, because I would like to kind of hear that in comparison with what I think about this kit in general. So let's just try it. Interested to hear what you think, because I want to talk a little bit about the best things about this kit and the things that I would change, all right? Number one, the best thing about this kit is the snare. They really did a great job of putting the right money into the right components, okay? What I mean by that is, one cool thing about a drum kit that is daunting for people when they first start out is, all of this stuff is upgradable. You can upgrade your drum kit over time. It's not like buying a guitar and it's like, all right, I'm stuck with this one guitar, and maybe I want like a really high-end guitar. I just kind of have to save up until I get there. You can replace one component at a time. So they really put a lot of money into the snare. I think the snare sounds really, really good, okay? Now, one reason it sounds good is because it also comes with moon gels, which was a great, just a great foresight by Van Gogh to add that, because if you don't know what those are, these little sticky gel things that just make the drum sound better. They take out some of the resonance, some of the ring that is associated with like maybe more budget kits. And again, that's a pretty... That's like a pretty articulate snare sound for something in this price range. It blows my mind. All the snares that I've played before are like more than the price of the entire kit. So they did an awesome job on the snare. Pro tip: one way that I got it to sound this good is actually taking a piece of tape and taping the snare to the underside of the drum, right? And again, I've done that on high-end kits too. It's just one thing that you learn when you start playing drums a little bit is there's no right or wrong way to do anything. Everything is customizable. Some of my favorite drummers of all time play with like their wallet and their keys on the snare, because every little kind of way that you can manipulate the surface area of a drum will affect the tone of it, right? So first things first, you take a piece of tape, tape the snare to the underside of the actual drum here. And again, I think it sounds great for like a budget kit, right? The tom. Okay, same thing. The mid tom and the low tom also have the gels on them. The smallest one, I didn't think needed. There's a little bit of resonance there. But again, I think it sounds pretty good. One thing that I want to really give them credit for is the hardware came really well intact. What I mean by that, there's not a lot of loose screws and stuff. Now, you do have to assemble like the hoops on it, which takes a while. It took me like I said, hour and a half, 2 hours to set this whole thing up and get it sounding right to me. You know what I mean? Again, not a drum expert, but I feel like I did a pretty good job. Kind of doing the best that I could with this, right? So, toms sound really good. I actually famously don't really use these two toms here. Like my normal configuration, I just kind of like lost these. I don't find myself using these things for how I play. But if you do want that big like that Phil Collins drum thing, then yeah, these are for you, right? Floor tom sounds great. I'm also very impressed by the quality of the drum heads that come with it. And the kick drum, if I had to do this over again, I would probably put a blanket inside of the kick drum to kind of get rid of some of that resonance. But again, it blows my mind for the money, everything that you get here, right? The only complaint that I have about these are the cymbals. The cymbals, and this is where it's hard to really make budget cymbals. I personally think that there's a big difference between good cymbals and budget cymbals, right? Like this doesn't sound like I'm used to hearing drum sound. What does sound good, the hardware on this is actually really good. So I think if you just actually use your foot to hit the hi-hat pedal and then just kind of keep time like this, sounds a lot better than even if you just hit like a rim. And I think that's like that's a pretty clean drum sound considering that this is all like super. But again, this is sponsored, so there's an affiliate link in the description if you guys are interested. Really cool. That one of the reasons that I think this would be the first thing that I would upgrade would be the hi-hat. And this is, it's hard to get good dynamics out of this. Like I could play this really soft. And it's like, it always overpowers it. So again, I think overall, incredible value, but this would be the first thing, maybe this would be the first thing I might replace. But if you're just getting started, like there's really no better way to do it. I also want to talk about the throne, okay? One thing that we would always stress to people back when I was selling drums is when it comes to like a throne, we call it a throne because that's what we do. Also, I'm wearing a backwards hat and basketball shorts, otherwise known as a drummer's tuxedo, just to kind of fit the profile of a great drummer. What we'd always say about having like a chair is either want to go super cheap or expensive on a throne. You don't want those in-between stools. There was never any value there. So it comes with just one that works, right? But they also sell the upgraded throne, and it is the best value comparable to any of the competitors on the internet. I think I looked up the throne that they have, and it's like $70. And I also have the Rock and Sock one, which is like the famous one, which is like over $200, right? I have not seen any competitor at any price point under $99. So if you're just looking for like a good throne, the Van Gogh throne actually, again, sold separately from the base drum kit. This just comes with a regular stool. Is really good. But anyways, those are my just initial thoughts on this. But super cool. I'm going to just make some music with it, right? One thing about modern drum production is funny. It's almost like the same thing with like the stools or the thrones, as we say. It's either super hi-fi or super lo-fi. So the cool thing about recording a budget drum kit, and even if it does have like components that might overpower something in a hi-fi mix, you can just lo-fi it and end up with like a really cool usable drum sound for anything. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use some of the other Van Gogh instruments. Like I said, I just did a lesson with their guitar. I forgot to mention that the guitar comes with an upgraded gig bag last time, so definitely check that out if you haven't. And let's make some music. What do you say?